Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. We have just the spiciest decks for you here. Mississippi River versus Cephalid Breakfast. Magic the way Richard Garfield intended. I mean, probably not Karuga. I mean, companions they're a mistake. But you know what? This derpy dinosaur is a sign that this is something very unconventional. Mostly in there to get an extra blue card in your hand for Commandeer. Though the deck naturally fits the criteria to run Karuga, and I suppose can actually cast him fairly easily as well if things go horribly awry. Sandstone Needle, a card you probably don't see very often. I've actually run that in like Jokelhop's decks back in the day. Looking to obliterate my opponent's entire board. Wildfire. Ramping up to a big splashy 6-mana sorcery that really screws over everyone at the table way before Commander was a thing. And Aether Vial. And we are looking at a Sakashima's Protege. Has Flash. Not super relevant. It's going to Cascade until it hits a creative technique. Now this has a quasi-storm effect called Demonstrate, where it creates copies, just one for your opponent and one for yourself, meaning that each cascade is going to get essentially 2 creative techniques, so your opponent's going to need 2 counter spells in order to stop it. It's like... Oh, Cabal Therapy found. And Daze and Force Will. So Cabal Therapy is found off of Creative Technique. And a body here. So Thassa's Oracle. Rips out the boarding party. So had Force and Daze to stop both copies of Creative Technique, the original and the copy. Ball Therapy took a shot at the hand, missed, but showed that a boarding party was ready to do the whole thing again on the next turn. And it was able to be flashed back with Thassa's Oracle. Here, Cephalid Illusionist shows up along with Nomads in Core, and that is a wrap. That is a tough one to beat. I mean, Force Daze plus Cabal Therapy twice is actually quite a lot to ask a deck to withstand in the first 3 turns, especially accompanied with a game-winning combo. I actually think Cephalid Breakfast is like comically underplayed for how powerful it is and just the sheer quality of the cards. Brainstorm, Ponder, Force of Will, Daze, Fetches, Duels. I mean, most of the deck is totally beyond reproach. The question of how good is the 2-card combo, and I would maintain it's actually incredibly good. It's 3 total mana, win the game. Very similar to Show and Tell. However, you also just win on the spot rather than just getting in, for example, an Emrakul. Much rather be on the Cephalid side of that type of matchup. Mississippi River, on the other hand, kind of a ticking time bomb. This deck's going to look to build up to 6 mana, preferably on turn 3. And kind of just go off. So it's, in a way, kind of like a delayed Belcher, except I would argue much more resilient. Belcher, Empty the Warrens is difficult to stop, but very rarely are you going to turn to your opponent with that. did, for example, make 12 goblins on the first turn, you'd mop things up by turn 3, whereas this deck is just getting going on turn 3, and you have a paradigm shift. So just 2 cards in the library. A fetch land and a ponder. Fetch land drawn for turn. Thassa's Oracle being cast with just 1 card in the library, and we have a Mirror Shell Crab trying to stop it. But that actually requires blue mana, so take backsies and Fry. Oh, that is actually, I remember this match. So Fry probably shouldn't be in the deck, but it does totally get there. So Force of Will and Daze in hand. That was a turn 3 win with Force Daze backup. And it just got broken up by Fry of all the cards, uncounterably destroying the Thassa's Oracle. Now, it was possible to actually just wait a turn, and that may have been totally fine, given the fact that the deck had a bunch of Frys in it. So if it did try comboing off, it very well may hit one of these sideboard cards and just completely fall on its face. I guess it would have to hit 2 of them, to be fair. It is much easier to stop. You only have to counter 1 spell. Beating out with Ponder, seeing a Nomad. There's already a Shuko in hand. Now, the way you draw it up is turn 1 Enabler, turn 2 Cephalid. I'm not sure what I'm looking for with Ponder. Could be an extra mana source. That does happen with this deck. I'm on 17 lands along with 4 Aether Vials. Brainstorm, finding lands, and Nomad. Shuko, often a card to put back. The Nomads is the preferable way to combo off. It is instant speed. Just so much easier to access the Shuko, given Stoneforge Mystic, Otawara. Urza's Saga can also help tutoring up Shuko. Brainstorm plus Fetch Land, best combo in the game. And another Ponder. Like, finds a Shuko and the necessary Cephalid. Four mana. Or the Cephalid Illusionist and Mirror Shell Crab. Yep, that is a uncounterable mana leak. Pretty good right there. Saving the game despite the Force of Will in hand. No way to fight back. And now the craziness begins. Ethereal Horn Sorcerer. And not... Oh, let's see if we actually get copies. All right, so we do get copies. So Cascading, Hidden Creative Technique. And going to need to hit a... Oh, that's not good. If you hit a Cephalid and then later on hit a Thassa's Oracle, this could actually work out okay. Still a possibility. Emrakul. And he's actually just going to stop it there. Oh, no, he's still going. Creative Technique. Anytime that it's copied, it is a little risky. But there's already an Emrakul on board. Oh, Mirror Shell Crab. That's going to be enough to swing out for lethal. Look at that. Well, you know, congrats on that. I mean, lethal presented with Force Days backup, and it all falls apart thanks to the new legacy playable card, Mirror Shell Crab.